Hello everyone, it's me again, and I've got the other
You didn't
half.
tell me you were recording them when I burped.
It's alright, I can edit it out.
You tell me that every time.
I will do, though. I will do. Right, this idea came to me last night because I thought to myself, well, why don't we do a fun video with the other half, because he's off this week. And I've gone down a rabbit hole of watching all Shane's scary videos, because we actually had a night watching a lot the other night, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this idea came to me last night, that we have a few ghost stories of our own to tell.
Or paranormally taught, like
Yeah.
weird things that have happened to us.
I will preface this by saying I'm pagan and I do believe in ghosts and I do believe there is something after death. You're pretty much open to most beliefs, aren't you?
Yeah.
As long as they don't hurt anybody. Right, so do you want me to start or do you want to start?
Well, I'll do one and then you do one if you want.
Do you want to tell the little girl?
That's a bit weird, that. When I was living at my mum's, I used to get this feeling that there was some weird feeling in their room. Like I just felt uncomfortable, or I wasn't wanted in my mum and dad's bedroom. I mean, you shouldn't go in your mum and dad's bedroom, I know the whole thing, but it's just, you know...
Well, 9 times out of 10 they were here waiting on it.
Yeah. But the weird thing was, if I shut their bedroom door,
You felt fine?
I felt fine and I wasn't bothered, but I always had to close it whenever they're out. And a couple of times I'd had these weird dreams where I was awake, but I couldn't move. And a few times I'd seen this childlike figure at the end of the bed that was literally trying to holding me, so I couldn't move, and I was there fighting and
By your
fighting.
ankle, yeah.
Yeah, and I managed to eventually shrug off and get up. And it was just a weird experience I had to go for a few times, and it was just
It was weird.
it was weird.
Another one, it happens in the same house, we think it's a different spirit. Not long after I moved over here, we lost a family member, and a couple of months later we were sat, I think I was watching telling you were playing EQ.
Yeah, computer or something.
Yeah, and we had two events happen the same night. One, we have a long pencil, it's about this long, and it was sat on the edge of a shelf.
And it was like somebody had literally grabbed it and thrown it across the room, it was...
And then about an hour later,
scary.
about an hour later, I felt somebody grab hold of my leg and move it, which was weird, weren't it?
Yeah. The old pencil thing was worse though.
Because that was we were just
what
there.
the frig? It didn't fall off, guys.
No,
it was
it didn't go
like that. It was like someone
like
had literally
that.
picked it up
And
and basically
whizzed
just thrown it across the room, and we were like, "What the frig?"
So that's a mild one. I'll tell another one of mine because mine are relatively mild-ish. The only time I've ever done a Ouija board, I think I was about 11, and there was me, my brother, somebody I grew up with who's a month older than me, and a couple of the other guys that I grew up with, because I grew up with mainly boys. And we were all in what was my brother's bedroom, which is now currently my bedroom, even though I don't live there anymore. It's what was my bedroom, but at that point it was his bedroom. And we did a Ouija board, and my brother had set it up and everything, and we were doing it, and one of the guys who was a month older than me was doing it, and he got scared and he started backing away. And because he did that, the glass actually lifted up and smashed against the door.
That happened. Mum says that happened to her once, didn't it? When her and some friends were, one of her old farmhouses, and
Near where your aunties live now.
they'd done a Ouija board thing, and this similar thing happened.
Yeah.
Where the glass flew across the room and smashed.
Yeah.
And they all ran out.
Which is one of the reasons why it won't happen in the house.
Yeah, because the whole thing about Ouija boards freaked me out.
Yeah, I don't mind dresses and things with the design of a Ouija board on, but I'll never let an actual Ouija board
It's just weird though,
house.
because when you see these horror movies and people doing Ouija boards, 9 times out of 10 it turns out to be some demonic presence that's pretending to be a relative or loved one, and you don't know who you're bringing. You don't know who you're bringing through the doorway, do you?
No.
Even if you do talk to that spirit, you don't know if you bring another spirit through at the same time, because you know more about the pagan thing now as you open a doorway.
If you open a doorway, anything can come through.
Even if it's for that concentrating on that one person.
Yeah.
they might have other people living.
Which is
in
why
that
when I do
dimension.
when I did I don't do mediumship that often, but when I do it, I ensure that I've got as much protection around me as possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when I do it, I have my mum doing a protection spell at the same time, don't I? I don't do it that often because I know. I think it's partially also my mum rubbing off on me because I know of the nastiness that can come from it.
Because it's
I
like
don't do much of it.
when you talk to other people about, before I met you, and like a lot of people like saying, oh, it's a lot of hocus pocus. But since I've got with you, seeing the things like with the whole experiences where you've had things happen, like things like back to that again, flying across the room and stuff like that, until you actually see these things and witness these things.
And the visions.
In the visions, it's like...
And you see me contact
you know, you wake
people.
up and you think, oh my God, this is creepy as hell.
Yeah, you see me contact people.
You know, it's just weird that there's stuff out there that you think, how does that happen?
Yeah.
You know, and people makes you wonder. Even if you're skeptical or you don't believe in stuff, say you don't believe in stuff like that, but you know, it's once in your lifetime, anybody or anyone, I say, is going to experience some paranormal type thing, even if you're unaware of it or you don't know about it, or you refuse to admit to it. That is going to be. So I'm waffling on that. But it's really weird to me that I think.
Yeah. Well, it's like people laugh at me because a place where I am at most calm and at most peaceful is in a cemetery, isn't it?
Which creeped me out.
Yeah, but to me, because a lot of people say, yeah, but there's a lot of ghosts in the cemetery. No, because when people die, they don't stay attached to the body. They
Just
stay
don't go in a
attached to the
cemetery during a zombie apocalypse.
But, like I said, they don't attach to the bodies. They attach to families, they attach to buildings, they attach to jewellery pieces, ornaments, things like that. They don't attach to the body, so they're not in the cemetery. And it's one of the most peaceful places in the world for me, but that's because I'm quite sensitive to a lot of things, so I hear and see a lot of things that some people don't.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I've
I've sort of discovered, or you sort of like saying that I've got this like thing I can tell when I meet people whether they've got a good or a bad aura.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'm just sort of learning, but 9 times out of 10 I've not been wrong, have I?
Yeah. Tell them about that other video, the one with the TV.
It was. Oh, this is absolutely. It was one my dad told me that apparently when his brother had died, he died on November the 5th, or it was like that, whatever. And they all
Which is known as Bonfire Night
in England. And then we have a rhyme which is remember the 5th of November, and it goes on gunpowder plot or whatever. You'll have to look it up because I don't know the full.
I'll put a link down below to the full rhyme.
And after they'd done the funeral and whatever arrangement when it was I was only a baby when he died, so I don't really know much about it. But they'd gone to pick up stuff in the house. You know, when you get stuff, you can go and get what you want. And he'd gone to pick up this television that he used to have, and it was February, March the following year. As soon as he turned the TV on, the first advert or programme that came on was the advert, remember the 5th of November. And apparently my dad says he put it straight back in the house and never used the TV after that. But it was just like, you know, God.
Yeah.
That's really creepy that if that happened, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you know. But yeah. And what was another one you were going to tell?
That vision I had. A lot of might believe not happen around this moment because the houses here in York, for example, this house that we live in is just over 100 years old. They withstood the First and the Second World War. But the houses where his mum lives...
into some ghosts here as well.
Yeah. The houses where his mum lives are what used to be an old airfield in the Second World War. So there's obviously things that have happened on the airfield. And I had this vision repeatedly, and it was the exact same every time. And when I told one of your aunties, she said she's had the exact same vision, where somebody's walking across the top of his mum and dad's stairs, and then she stops like halfway right in front of the bedroom door where we used to where we stayed, and she'd lift up a floorboard and put something underneath, but I can never see what it was. We've never actually checked under the floorboards to see if there is anything under there, and I'm not about to start doing that because I think my mother-in-law would fall out with me if I start ripping up a carpet. But yeah, that was another weird one.
There was that other one that my brother told me. That was really weird. It was when he was in Air Force, and he was working on this Air Force. I can't remember where it was, and they'd overheard this rumour that this down a certain sidetrack on the road that led up to their place, the airbase where they worked, there was this girl that had this motorcycle accident where she'd come off the bike and she'd died, and I think he died later on or whatever. But there was this rumour that if you went down this track on late night or whatever, this girl would pull you over and ask you for help. And my brother and side of his mates thought, as a dare, we'll do it.
The lady in white, a lot of places have the same myth.
Kind of thing. But this is, well, I don't know if she was white, I think she was just in whatever clothes she was in, kind of thing, but obviously caught it. And they thought, oh yeah, we'll just drive down there for a laugh. And apparently they saw this girl on the side of the road. They stopped and pulled her over. She goes, guys, can you help me please? I need help. Someone's had an accident. And my brother said they just bombed it and went, oh.
And your brother's not easily scared.
Yeah, because apparently if you get her into the car, she'll take you to the scene of the crime, and when you get there, she's disappeared or something weird like that. But it's kind of like weird. But they just didn't get to that point. He was just like, they were just talking about it. He said, oh, we'll do it as a dare. See this young lass side of the road. And, you pull over, my boyfriend's had an accident on his bike, and you come in like,
yeah, well, the place where I used to work, it was the longest job I've ever had. It was the job I had before I moved here, before I moved over to be with this one here. And the place where I worked is an old mill. The business doesn't work there anymore, it doesn't operate there anymore. But when I worked there, when I was there, it wasn't a mill, it was just a warehouse that we used to store stock. And there was multiple floors, and each floor would be all sorts of stuff. But the thing is, it used to be a proper old mill with looms and everything. And I know this for a fact because my mum worked there when it was a mill. And both me and my mum, because we both worked there, it's the same building, the exact same building. We both worked there and we both said no, there's something extremely unsettling about the whole thing, the whole building, because there were multiple children that died in the mills, and where I come from has a lot of mills, doesn't it? Because even the town where I come from, the town where I was raised, there is still standing 3 mills. One's a shopping centre, one's a furniture shopping place, and the other one I think they're still trying to figure out what they're doing with that one. But there are still 3 mills standing. And like I said, this other mill is, you just walk along the floor and you feel unsettled. You've been a few times, haven't you? And it's unsettling, it's weird, you feel...
Most old places you feel unsettled.
But it's the fact that it was probably a lot of kids that died as well. Because they used to use kids to get underneath the looms.
Yeah, there was a documentary about that, I'm telling you.
Oh, it was horrible, and it's just... Sometimes you'd be, especially if I was one of the clients, I used to pick and pack in the same area where the stock was, because it was easier to do that way, because the stock was so bitty and weird. And I'd get left alone in a corner on that particular floor to do what I was doing, and numerous times I'd just be sat there nearly in tears because the amount of pain and sorrow I'd feel. When there was only one other person on the same floor as me, we'd have brilliant upbeat club music on, and I'd still feel a crippling sadness. And it was weird. I loved the job and I loved the people that I worked with, but it's just sometimes the building was very unsettling. We had another building that was literally across the railway bridge, railway lines from the building I mainly worked in. And the other building, what used to be there was part of a mill, and then that was knocked down for some reason, and then we built these other 2 buildings that were joined together. And when I was there was no, there was no feeling of sadness, there was no feeling of weirdness or anything like that. It was just nice, calm, surreal, and all that, weren't it? But in the main building, it was just so weird.
There was also that time, I don't know if you want to mention that one, about, I won't mention the girl's name, but when that lass had been, there was a lass that had been murdered, drowned, hadn't she? Well, I won't mention any names due to
Yeah.
whatever, but there was a lot of advertisement about it and stuff like that, and I just felt like we'd gone past where she'd supposed to be drowned, and sometimes your mum reckoned that she'd latched onto me, because I just came home and I was angry.
Because you had a connection to her.
Yeah, I was just angry and whatever, because she'd known two of the guys that I'd worked with, and she must have put two and two together. Yeah, and it was just really weird, and I was like, came home, wasn't I, and all this and that, and I was abusive. I was like just sort of like pushing you all the way, wasn't I? And I was,
you weren't abusive. You were just. It was just like something had.
Yeah, and then when you went to speak to your mum, and she actually told you, didn't she?
Yeah.
But she didn't tell me that this girl had actually latched on to me.
And was wanting me to help. I was worried about it. I was too worried about him to see it.
Pete says he's upstairs really upset and feels really sort of down and lost, and it's like every time I go past, I don't know whether it's like when you go by the river sometimes.
Well, there have been a few people who've done it.
Yeah, but I always feel like you feel like this magnetic pulse where you feel that you're being drawn into the river.
Yeah. And
it's really weird,
Yeah.
And even going crossing the bridge sometimes I feel. I mean, it's okay. I have vertigo, but it's just something about the river. You just feel like you just want to jump in.
And it doesn't help.
Not that I would, because I'm not like that. But you get this feeling that you think somebody's trying to say, "Do it, do it."
Yeah. I don't know whether it's due to because the places where we've lived, both York and where I come from, are very old and have a hell of a lot of history. Although where I come from is only about 150 years old. But like I said, because we have so many mills, it is, and as well as we have a chemical factory in other places as well. The chemical factory isn't operational anymore. But I think that might be one of the reasons, because York is one of the oldest cities in England.
It's supposed to be really haunted, isn't it, and stuff like that. But
we have a lot of old buildings. One day what I might do is we'll go to York Museum by Clifford Tower and do a bit of a vlog in there.
Do it at night and see if you come up with anything.
Yeah, they don't do night things there.
I know, I'm joking. Orbs and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
you won't see me for dust. I'd be running.
No, well, we'll try and do that at some point. We'll probably do that in the summer, because it's something to do when my mum's over. Excuse me. Also, we might go through ruins in Museum Garden as well. I do have pictures of both, which I won't put in this video, because this video is probably a bit too long for me to do that. But if you want me to do a video of all the pictures that I have of both the museum and the museum gardens, I will do. But like I said, because the places where we've grown up are so old and have such a history, it's probably one of the reasons why there's so many ghost stories. But yeah, we don't play Ouija boards, we don't play games like that, or Charlie Charlie or anything like that. Because
Charlie.
I'll explain it later.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where you don't...
Oh, is that one of those Charlie, like sort of...
Charlie, are you here? You've got two
in
pencils.
In a mirror or something. Yeah,
no,
and there's ones where
it's two pencils.
Right.
You draw a grid and you say yes and no and stuff. But we don't...
So you're saying that somebody was knocking then?
Oh, it was me doing that.
No, it don't scare me.
But it's one of those things that it happens. But yeah, just thought we'd tell a few of the scary stories of things that we know about and things that we've heard about and things that we've experienced. Like I say, I don't talk to the dead that often because I don't want to open that doorway. It's a bit too scary.
Who's Charlie supposed to be anyway?
I'll explain it later.
Sorry, you got me guessing.
I know, I'll explain it later. Right.
Nightmares.
No, I'll explain it later.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm going to film my other two videos that you'll have already seen by this point. One about the apocalypse continuation, and one about somebody that I'm not exactly the biggest fan of, but I'll get into those videos in a minute because you're going to go play at computer, aren't you? So yeah, that's it from us this week. This will go up after I've done my live stream, because I'll do my live stream Thursday. So...
They fly.
I know. Stay safe, be good, have fun, and we will both see you very, very soon.
Bye.